It looks like it's getting closer to everyone's favorite couple to get married, but of course there's gonna be some bumps along the way. So let's talk about it in this All-American Season 6, Episode 14 review. Spencer and Olivia in this episode are getting things ready for their wedding that's approaching, and a gift they got kicked off some of the events in this episode. The gift they got were knives, and she started freaking out saying that it was bad luck, and she was blaming almost everything in this episode because of it. First, Spencer broke a mirror, like that mirror almost lasted 6 seasons. He saw Olivia in her wedding dress, which got her to realize later on during the conversation with Laura that that dress wasn't for her, and she's gonna find another one that's for her. Then she lost her wedding ring. I was like, she really about to lose it, no pun intended. She thought her ring fell down the drain, and I was like, that ring isn't down that drain. It was eventually revealed what happened to it during the bachelor and bachelorette party their friends threw for them. There were magicians there, and one of the tricks they had the ring with it. They was trying to figure out how did they get that ring, and she told him it was in his pocket. When Olivia remembered that time Spencer saw her in her dress, they had kissed, and afterwards it fell into his pocket. So this whole time he was walking around, he had the ring with him. I found that pretty funny, and I'm glad they found it because she was worried about losing it. This next part was mixed in with the whole wedding stuff, but Grace and Laura are writing their speeches, and they got a little competitive. They were trying to decide who was going to go last. Spencer and Olivia left so quick, they already knew what time it was. Then Laura was getting some help for a speech from Denise, and Grace was surprised, and she let Laura know that she's about to hear the greatest speech that she's ever heard. Eventually, Grace read some of her speech to Laura, and it was a good one, and Laura let her know she knows exactly how to end the speech together. I thought they would have been collaborating on the speeches anyway, and I thought this was a funny and nice part in the episode. Back to Spencer and Olivia, something else popped up. Olivia's grandma and grandpa and Dylan weren't going to make it before the wedding because of the storm on the East Coast. With everything going on, Spencer was starting to wonder if Olivia was right. But Grace let him know Dylan will make it on time for the wedding, and as for Olivia, she told him it's not his job to share the same brain as her. And that Billy always used to say the best partnerships are when two different but connected halves come together to make a beautiful whole. And she let him know they both are just nervous. That right there is true. One thing that she's tying to like bad luck, she associated it with everything that's going on. When in actuality, if they didn't open that gift, they wouldn't be wilding out over some of the stuff that's happening now. Sure, they would be a little affected, but it's not as much as they are now. Getting married is something new to the both of them. It's a big commitment, so it's normal for them to be nervous about it. It wasn't all too bad for them in this episode. Spencer went to South Crenshaw High, and the students were happy to see him. He was signing autographs. Also, while he was there, he had a talk with the coach who was happy about the donation Spencer had made, even though he tried to make it anonymous, but I think his name was on the checks. He wanted to call the new weight room the Spencer James Weight Room. It kind of got a ring to it, and he wanted Spencer to have a talk with Jordan about taking the coaching job. Speaking of Jordan, he gave some gifts to Spencer and Olivia, but he couldn't talk because through most of the episode, he was losing his voice, so he had to use some signs for what he wanted to say. The gifts he gave them had coordinates to Spencer's house where they had solidified their love. It was funny because Spencer thought he meant something else, and I was like, she's close with her brother, but I don't think she's that close to tell him all of that. She let Spencer know that it was the night that she told him that she was ready to fight for her recovery and for him. They started kissing, and I was laughing because Jordan had one sign left and he had that look like he was done. It's time to go. I thought that was nice of Jordan to give them those gifts to remind them of that moment. At night, they had the rehearsal dinner with everyone and a nice slideshow. You'd think they had a good night, right? Well, something popped up towards the end of the episode. They got a call from the wedding planner and they told them that the wedding venue was ruined. Of course, things aren't going to go that smoothly for them on their wedding day, but we know they will find a way for things to work out. Moving along to Jordan and Layla, they both have something to think about in this episode. For Jordan, it's the coaching job at South Crenshaw High. And Layla, it's about the potential house they may get. We know Jordan wasn't going to the NFL, and when we heard him ask Layla if pivoting from the NFL was the right move, we did learn something new. He had a concussion in his final NCAA championship game. She seen what he went through, and she was proud that he was putting his health first. That is a smart move. We didn't see that game probably because of the time skip, but he shouldn't be trying to go there since he would have to be extra careful. Layla had a talk with Asher about her and Jordan possibly buying a house, but you could tell she was nervous. Asher told her to stop worrying about the what ifs, take the house, don't take the house, as long as they have each other. That was some solid advice from him. They have to get a house that they both like, that they both can say feels like a home, and maybe this one just isn't it. That wasn't the only thing I think that helped out Layla's decision about the house. She had a talk later on with Preach, and I think that might have affected it as well. Preach was proud about everything she's done with the lounge, and he told her thank you for showing them how a home can be transformed into everything they deserved. After all of those conversations, she had a talk with Jordan, and she declined the offer on the house. That's understandable. You don't want to buy a house or go into a house and it doesn't feel like a home. Back to Jordan and Spencer, he had a talk with him about the coaching job. He told him he is his dad's legacy no matter where he goes. And why not go to a place that meant so much to his dad and his grandma? If his dad was there, he would tell him the same thing. It looked like he agreed. He went and sat in the coach's office, and the coach walked in and talked to him right quick. He said the chair in the office is like home. He should just take the job. He still gets to be near football, and his family is tied to that school. And like has been mentioned throughout the episode, it's like home. If he is a part of season 7, I think he could make that football team one of the top ones. Overall, it was a solid episode. There were some funny moments, characters thinking more about what they want, and Spencer and Olivia did have a few good moments besides all the stuff that was happening. I'm interested to hear y'all thoughts about the episode. Comment below, what did you like or dislike about the episode?